try. Hopefully the boys have... Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. Hi Patricia. Hi Connie. Hi Jackie. Hi Sue. Hi Shelley. Just cleaning my dirty fingers. I've already made a mess. I've not even started yet. Good evening, good evening. Let me just put my phone on as well because my comments sometimes are a little bit all over the place. Okay, I am live now. Hello, Gillian. Hello. Hello. Okay, right, so I've got my phone as well, which I'm just going to prop somewhere there. That's it. Lovely jubbly. Look at that. I've already made such a mess, but hopefully you'll be able to see the table okay. I think I've got a nice wide angle here. Philippa Winter McCartney, you didn't remind me, did you? Hey, I was 5 minutes late, Philippa. Hi, Kim. Evening, evening. Oh, the numbers are running up tonight. Let's get to 20. Let's get to 20. Be very exciting if we do get to 20. You never know, in 3 years we might get to 30. Hi, Shelley. Hello, hello. Let me just try and get the paint from under my fingernails. I did forget to remind you, but I asked you to remind me first, so we're as bad as each other, lovely. Aren't we? Never mind. Never mind. We've had an MOT kind of day today, which was rather expensive, but never mind. I have my car back now, which is very exciting. Okay, oh, I got excited then because we jumped up in numbers and we've jumped back down. I think people do it to tease me. So this evening I'll be making a cover for a journal. So I'm not making the journal, I'm going to make the cover, and I've got some really nice resin cast mouldings ready to decorate and paint and decorate the front cover as well. And it's going to be a bit of a doorway. I started painting the resin in white gesso and then I thought, no, I'm going to do them in black. So when you see the door, it's like a mixture of dirty grey and black and a bit of white as well. But never mind. So let's get cracking, shall we? Let's get cracking. I'm going to use, to make the cover bit, I'm going to use my Journal It template set 2, which is this beauty, because I want to make a big cover. So this is approximately 5 by 8.5, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, about 6 inches by 8.5 inches is the size of the cover that I'm going to do. But I'm only going to use a piece of grey board that will then stick on top of the actual cover. So it's going to be like a very thick double layer. Oh, we're at 21. We're at 21, Steve. That's very exciting. It's very exciting. So how's everybody doing? You're all very quiet. Hope everybody's okay. So I've got some nice grey board, and I'm just going to draw around 1/2 of this template. So it's sort of split into sections. Part of it you can make a little travel tall notes journal, like that size, a travel notes journal, but if you extend it that way you get the 6 by 8.5 journal cover, and then you've got a nice spine as well. So the idea is I'll just draw around this once, because I just want to decorate a front cover that which then will sit on top of a book once I've made the book, if that makes sense. Oh, jumped out. Oh, it's all over the place now, these numbers. It's gone back down to 10 now. I don't believe Facebook numbers anymore. But is everybody okay? Can everybody comment, or somebody comment, because I've had no comments for a while. And it's a bit disconcerting. But I'll crack on. I'll carry on regardless. I will carry on regardless. Okay, everybody's okay. How was your weekends, everybody? Hope they were nice and relaxing. Oh, hi, Catherine. Hello, hello, hello. That's all right then. That's all right then. I had a jama day yesterday. Hi, Dina. I did. I spent the day in my pyjamas, but I did run a workshop first thing in the morning. Oh, good for you, Kim. It's a really nice box, that. I really like making that. I was toying whether to do a little mini flip out thing tonight, but I thought, no, I'm going to do some MDF, not MDF, some resin stuff tonight. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I did a little workshop yesterday morning. I'm starting to do, for anybody that's interested, they're going to be called £10 Tuesdays. 10 are Tuesdays, but they might not necessarily be on a Tuesday. And they're going to be a mixture of tutorial workshops and technique workshops as well. But you provide your own materials. I just run the workshop, and they could be from 1, 2 up to 3 hours, but they're going to be called 10 of Tuesdays. So the next one is actually going to be next Tuesday evening, which is going to be mixed media techniques, and a colour theory one. But I'll put the details on anyway for that one. But the one I did yesterday was a lovely gatefold one, so I have posted the make finish that I did yesterday. That's on the group today. I've posted that. Hi, Caroline. So if anybody's interested in doing the workshop, it's still available. It's in a private Facebook group, but it was a live video yesterday, so you can watch it back at your leisure. But just message me for details of if you're interested. But it was a nice little workshop. Can I get back to do the demo? Can you get back to the demo? What now? What do you mean now? I'm doing it. What do you mean, Kim? So I've cut around my cover, and it's just a thin grey board that I'm using. So to start with, I just want to give it a nice coat of black gesso, just to give it a background. Let me just use a piece of scrap paper. And I just got some That's Crafty. Oh, sorry, Kim. Yeah, once you've paid, it's a private group, so once you paid, you can watch it back whenever you want. For some of the techniques, yeah. It's available for whatever and whenever, yeah. I thought you meant get back onto this because I was chatting too much, Kim. I thought, a bit rude. But it's fine. Yeah, you can go back to whenever. It was a nice fun workshop yesterday, being the first one. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't want too much water on this because obviously more water it'll soak through, but I do want to give it a bit of a layer before I start doing all my little bits of techniquey bits with some of my texture paste, etc. So as long as I just give it a nice coat of gesso, black, white, clear, whatever you want to use, This will just give it a nice surface area in which to work from. And I'll attach this to the front cover of my book with some heavy body gel, so it's really nice and attached once I've finished it. But it's far easier for me to do it as a separate piece, which will then go on the front of a cover. So you'll have to just keep reminding me just to keep the project down a bit in case I go too high up on the camera. Okay, so I'll just give that a quick blast. I've also got some resin that's drying. I've also cast a little bit of resin that hopefully will be finished, and I've used the amazing casting resin which I've got from That's Crafty. It's a really nice one, this. It works really quickly. It's a 1-to-1 part resin, and it's about a 10-minute demould for it. Yeah, and there's little cups in there and some little sticks. And it also, the little cups that you use, you might need a bigger cup, because sometimes if you've got the 2 little cups and you fill them up, they won't fit in the 3rd cup, if you see what I mean, because they're all the same size. So if you get it, you might just need an extra bigger little plastic cup to actually do your mixing in. But I had cast a few doors at Jill. Jill will tell you what doors they are. I've got some mushrooms as well. I'm not quite sure where they're from. But anyway, so let me just give this a quick blast. Hi, Angela. Hi, Sharon. Right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. So that's drier than I thought there. Very good, very good. Okay, so I will show you the resin pieces that I've already cast, and you'll see what I mean about me painting. Look at the state of that. So I did start in white, and then I thought, oh no, I'll do it in black because I wanted a sort of a darker door. You can't quite see them at the moment. I'll just move them a little bit because I'm going to dry them quickly with a heat gun. I've got the little resin, the little rabbit from the new Prima. I've also got some little mushrooms, no idea where that's from. A big mushroom, can't remember where that's from. Another mushroom, and then I've got one of the birds that was from the, oh Jill, you'll remember, with the bird houses, that was just around Christmas time, when that, just before Christmas when that collection came out. From, it's a Stamperia one, that one. His little chin's not covered, but that's okay. Cozy something, was it? I can't remember. It would help if I tried to remember these things before I started, wouldn't it? Oh, dewdrops, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's very dry. So by the time I've done the door background, I'll be ready for painting these. And let me just see if this one's... I know, don't tell me off, Jill, but I did get this one because I want that little snail. Look at that! Look at that snail! Look at him. He's just cute, so I'll paint him in a bit. But, oh, there's a little bee as well there, like a little beetle. But I don't need that one yet, so I'll leave that in. And on this one, there's also a frog and an owl. And a big load of mushrooms as well. That's the owl one. Hi, Maxine. So that's the owl, but I'm not going to be using them tonight, but they're there for later. Yeah. Oh. Okay, and that one is that IOD, Jill, or was it a Prima? I cannot remember. Hi, Marjorie. And I might just wipe a little bit of the excess off of that because I did slather that black paint on. And it's okay because I'm painting over it anyway with some of my beautiful brown paint. Or brun, as we say in Norwegian, now that I've learnt that word. Grun and brun. Green and brown. Or grön and brun. And I've also learnt what a bear is called in Norwegian. It's called a bjorn. So maybe that's why Bjorn from ABBA is called Bjorn, because it's another word for bear. Didn't know that. Yeah, so dirty hands. If you don't like dirty hands, wear gloves. But I think it's going to be the way for this evening. It's going to be very dirty girl. Okay, so I just want to have a think about where I'm going to position my door. Let me just move that behind. Okay, so I sort of tend to put my doors to the right hand side, just depending on what sort of spine I'm going to do, or whether I'm going to use a ring binder or whether I'm going to stitch it. But I think maybe this time I'm actually going to position my door around there, and then I've got all my other little creatures that are going to go around it. So as long as I sort of know this is the vague area, I'm now going to use some of the That's Crafty fine texture paste to add a little bit of texture to this, as though it's like a little wall, a country wall or something that the door is against. I don't want to do a tree behind it, so I've done that a few times. So I'm actually going to use some of the texture paste to sort of try and create a little bit of atmosphere. Oh, she's on. She was here before you, Glynis. Oh yeah, she's here. She's been here for years. So this That's Crafty fine texture paste is sort of opposite of what it's actually called, because it's got a real grit to it, and it has got the texture a bit of like a body sugar, you know, like the sugar that you smear on your body. It's like that sort of texture, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful feeling to it. So I'm just going to put it on, and then I'm going to create some texture just in the way that I'll spread it around. I've also got a little I've got a little brick mould, but I think I'm going to do it by myself. There is a little That's Crafty brick mould that I could certainly go through. There is some other brick moulds available from That's Crafty, so I could certainly do a little bit of that to add that little bit of texture. So even though I've pushed it on top of an already textured background, it still looks quite effective anyway. And by just doing little bits of it, I just think it looks a bit more natural. So I just want to miss this bit out, because obviously my door's going to go there. Oh, hi Anthony. So just by dibby-dabbing and just running the blade of the spatula backwards and forwards, it sort of creates this sort of drywall effect. And let's come down this side as well. And then I'll push this little stencil through it again. So for those that want to know the code, that's crafty, so it's TC001 and it's one of the little dinky stencils. This is such a useful stencil for yourselves. So let's come all the way down. So just a bit of crisscrossing. I'm okay that it's not going right to the edges. And then let's get a little bit more pushed into here with that. So I'm just pushing it directly on and then just smoothing it over with my palette knife. So when I lift it off, I get that texture of the stencil. I'll do a little bit up here. So rather than it just being direct through the stencil like that, which is, it's, you know, like that, it's quite flat looking. If you do actually through a surface that's underneath it as well, I just think it creates a little bit more interest. There we go. So I've got a nice background going on there. So don't forget to put this in some nice warm water, or use a little bit of a wet wipe or something just to get the surface of that a little bit cleaner so it doesn't dry horrible and yucky. There we go. Oh, bless you. There we go. So let's just push that across there and give that little rub. There we go. And then I can cover that with a little bit of heat. Hi Deirdre. Hello, lovely lady. Did you knit that jumper for your other half? Lovely. So it doesn't take a great deal just to get that surface a little bit set. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with some of this. It's the That's Crafty apricot. So I want to do a bit of a nice colour background that's a little bit stony. So I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the grey. So I'm just going to come in with my brush. I'm not going on very heavy because I don't want to disturb any of the texture. And where the black is, it's almost like a dry brush effect over the top. It's like painting on snow, this. It's so lovely. So I am just being quite gentle with it. But this is one of my new favourite colours, this apricot. So I could have gone for a greenish background, as though it was sort of behind like a mossy wall or something. I might add a little bit of green later. But to start with, I just want to build up the colours for this wall. I know I should have put a bit more texture paste down there, but I'll be adding some extra little bits and pieces down there anyway. So that's my first layer, and you can see I've left little bits of black showing through, because again, that creates that illusion of texture and sort of 3D-ness as well. Give that a quick blast, but then I'm going to come in with the grey. And I've also got a little bit of my chestnut brown. So there's my chestnut brown. Grey should be somewhere here. There we go, because I'll need that for the little rabbit. I've run out at the minute of my That's Crafty green. I've got one coming tomorrow, I think. So I've actually got some of the Creative Muse satin acrylic, just plain green. So I'll use that and I'll just add some black or white to it, or a little bit of red. I've never painted on snow, no. But that's what it feels like. You could just imagine. You could just imagine it, Glynis. So a quick little blast with the heat gun on that. Anyway, Glynis, what nice things did you see at the York races? What things were tempting you? It's a bit too far up the coast for me for that York. A bit too far, well, across the road. So this is the That's Crafty multi-surface in grey. So again, I just want just soft little texture going over the top. And again, I'm just leaving some of that apricot in the background, just as I'm filling some of the areas up with that grey. I've slipped on ice. I've eaten ice. I like crunching it. Oh, has anyone seen the Bear Grylls thing, the Bear Grylls Hunt thing on Netflix with Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen? Oh, it's brilliant. I blitz watched it yesterday. What a fabulous programme. I loved it. I loved it. You didn't buy a horse. Well, that's good. So again, a quick blast. And then a little bit of my brown. So again, just lightly brushing over the top, gently, Glynis. Light, gentle brushing. We're not going in with a big heavy hand. We're just being a nice little gentle teasing of the colour over the top. Do a little bit of a Bob Rossi, nice little gentle strokes with a hint of a tree, a hint of a snowman. And I'll tilt it for you in a second just so you can see how wonderful this actually looks. Yeah, that's why I just said, was there anything that took your eye? Yeah. Right, I'll just give that a little bit of a tilt, just so that you can see, hopefully, the texture on that. Turn that sideways. It's got some real depth to it. I like that a very lot. So I'll give that a nice big blast now to get it all dry, and later if I want to I could always go back over some of it with a little bit more dry brushing, but I'm very happy with that. Hi Jam. Hi Sarah John. You've lost your ladybird? What ladybird's that? So it's still really flexible, this grey board, which is what I want. Oh God, I absolutely love that. I really like that effect. Are you allowed to like your own work? Oh, I do like that a lot. Okay, right, I'm going to put that to one side. Don't over egg the pudding, you can go too far. And then let's get these doors. Oh, for your journal. Oh, Philippa. What, do you need another one? Oh, flipping heck. Right, so let's put that to up there, out of the way, and then let's get these little beauties back down here. Okay, so this door's almost dry now, so let's concentrate on this. Hi, Jenny. And let's get these painted. And the thing with this casting resin, the amazing casting resin, is sometimes it does dry a little bit warped. That's if I've moved the mould and that. But the good thing is, when you're actually gluing it on, if you heat it, it will become a little bit more flexible. And then I'll put something over the top of it to keep it really flat, because it's got a little bit of a curve on that. So I'm not overly worried about that, because once I heat it to sit it down on the book cover, it will go flat. But what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to come in with my lovely brown, chestnut brown. It's not soggy at all, Glynis. The back of it is still really dry. Because I put that layer of gesso on first, it's acted as a proper barrier really to let that moisture from the rest of the stuff stay on the top level. But it is really flexible. I like it. And I've done it like this as well, so just in case it sort of seeps through, it won't come through to the white pages inside my book, the actual signatures and stuff. So it's like an extra layer of barrier against any moisture that might come through. But I don't think much will come through really at all, because I've got that layer of gesso. So I think it'll stay like it is, but I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to come in with my little stubby brush, and again, because I've got that black already on with a little bit of white, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to cover the whole bit. I'm going to be a little bit more sort of dry brushy with it. So just where I know there's woodwork on the door, so it's like a little wooden panels on the door. But then the frame itself there is a brick frame, so I'll come back in with some of that grey. But for now I'm just doing a little bit of layering with my chestnut brown. Just like that. All the rest of this character stuff up here is all florals and a little bit of greenery, and down here as well is a little bit of greenery. So the main thing is getting the door done, and I've got a little bit of metallic paint to do the door knocker, but it's going to be like an old wooden door. Well, with it I could always put a layer of varnish over the top of it. Ugliness. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of this grey. Where's my little dish? A little mixing pot. I've still got that from last week when I did some painting. So I'm going to come in with a smaller brush and I'm just going to pick up some of this grey and I'm going to add a little bit of white. I will wipe my brush, don't worry. It's alright, Glynis. Don't you worry. It's like a pat you on the head moment, isn't it, lovely? You've had a long day, it's okay. We understand. And then a little bit of this apricot as well, because that goes very nicely with that grey. Okay, so I'm just going to mix a little bit of that together. That little noise you might hear is Pancake having a little wash, and he's being a right noisy little boy. Right, so I'm just going to dry brush over these stones, and I've just mixed a bit of the grey with a bit of white with a little bit of that apricot. And I'm not going to forget the top bit either. But because I've painted it with the black gesso first, it does make a difference, obviously, when you're dry brushing over the top of it. Anyway, how's all the measles and stuff? Chicken pox, was it? Is that all nice and sorted now? Is everybody okay? Because that was a bit nasty, wasn't it, for them? I'll just come down. So don't forget to do your side pieces with these resin bits, because, you know, it is a 3D piece, you need to remember. And the thing with doing dry brushing, once you let the first layer dry, you can keep going back over and over, and it does create more layers of texture. So that's that little bit, and then I'm going to come in with this green. But like everything, I'm not always keen on the colour as it is. I like to just give it a little bit of a darker colour. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of brown, just a shade of brown, just to darken it a little bit. There we go. And then again, a little bit of dry brushing over the top. And you don't have to be too neat and tidy with this, because obviously foliage can spread out loads. As long as I cover up the little bit of white that was sneaking through from when I first painted it, nobody's going to know where that foliage is anyway. Just give it a quick dry first, because there's still a little bit of black gesso still a bit wet on that. Oh, so have you got them again this week for your half term? Our lot have just gone up to Scotland to around near Gatehouse of Fleet, that sort of area. Dumfries and Galloway. So I love that area of Scotland. Oh, Pancake, he's so nuzzly. Can you hear him? because I want it sort of a bit darker, that's why I've gone in with, let me just put that light a bit better over there, with a little bit of a darker green and it being too bright. And then if there's any bits of white, I'm just going to go in with the pure green off my palette, just to dot that over the top, so it just gives it a little bit more texture. So like I say, because I've dried that one in the background, you can go back over and it picks up all the detail of that resin. So you can be really, really detailed with this, especially if you're using a resin rather than the clay. I just think it's so much sharper once you've cast it. There we go. A little bit over there. I'll let that dry and go back over again. But like I say, with dry brushing, you can just keep that going over and over it. I'll just add a little bit of white to that green now, just to lighten it again. Add a little bit of the apricot. And then again, just dry brush over that. So I've got about 3 different shades of green now going on. So rather than it just being a flat colour, it really brings that foliage to life now, because I've got lots of layers of green going on. There we go. Oh, I just love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. There we go. That's so nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of a darker brown now down there. So let's just get a bit more brown on the job. I'm going to add a tiny little bit of the black gesso, not very much. Just to darken that brown a little bit, and I've mixed it with a bit of the green as well. So what I want to do is just go right in that corner with a finer paintbrush, just really deep in that little corner there where it's going to be right in the shadow, and up underneath that archway as well. Just picking out little bits of area where the foliage isn't there, just underneath the little door knocker. So it just makes a difference just with that little bit of darker brown as well. So I'm going to dry that really quickly, and then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of a paler brown now with dry brushing, just to pick up the texture of those planks of wood that make up the door. I'll just come down slightly with my camera, just bear with me a second. There we go, just so you can see the detail a little bit better. Sorry for that action shot, just push it back a little bit, hopefully that's okay. Okay, so I need a bit more of my brown now. Oh, it needs to come that way, didn't it? There we go. Sorry guys, messing about with Canva. taking on a little bit of a ride then, won't I? Okay, so there's my brown. I'm going to mix that with a little bit of this apricot now, just to give it a little bit of a lighter shade. That made me feel dizzy then, doing that camera work. Oh dear, that's absolutely filthy. Oh no, Pancake's here now. No, get down, get down, get down. I've got paint, I've got dirty. Yeah, you're a lovely boy, aren't you? There you go, get down. Get down. Get down. Thank you. So we'll just get a bit of that apricot, lift a little bit of that brown with it, so it's just created almost like a sand colour. Let's put a little bit more in. That's it. And then I'm going to just wipe the excess of my brush off on a tissue, because I don't want that much on my brush, because I literally just want to do just some nice light dry brushing over the top. This brush is a little bit too sharp for me, so I need a scrubby brush, which is this one, which has got a bit of a rubbish end to it. So you can see the difference to it. I don't want to point to it, so I don't want to create too much detail with that dry brushing. I just want it to just lay over the top of the surface. So hopefully I've got a little bit of wiggle room with that now. There we go. So I've scrubbed that in a little bit. Let's pick up a little bit more of that. Painted paws, blooming it. Well, I mean, Waffle once stood in a load of paint and carried it all through the house. I had it all on my sofa. So I'm just dragging that dry brush down over the surface of that woodwork there, that wood panelling, and it just creates more of a sort of an authentic wood feel to that door, because we want it authentic, don't we? There we go, a little bit of dry brushing there, and then a little bit coming this way to pick up the little slats that are going across in that direction. So you can see now it's got more of an old rickety door feel to it. So there's still that brown underneath, but just with that little bit of dry brushing over the top. Oops, that's a bit too much. Let's just blend that back in. Don't like that. There we go, that's better. So I'm happy with that door. I'm just going to come in with a little bit lighter across those panels there. And then I'm just going to go a little bit more just over that green. Just to bring out this area again. On the door. There we go. So let's just get a little bit more green on my brush. That's it. Wipe off the excess. That's it. Okay, so I'm happy with that green. I'm happy with the brown of the door. So what I want to do now, I'm just going to add a little bit of colour through that green to add a little bit of like berries, that sort of thing. So let's put my lids on this gubbins now. What time are we on? Are we alright for time, lovelies? Oh, it's only 10 to 8. We've got loads of time. Loads of time. Okay, so I want to use a little bit of a metallic-y colour. So let's see what I've got. So I've got the painted metallic gold here. So just with my very fine brush, I'm going to come in with a little bit of that. Put that in my water. So a nice little bit of the metallic gold, and again just a nice small amount, almost a dry brush again, just over my knocker, just my little knocker. Got a little bit of paint in the middle of my knocker, which I didn't want, so let's try and get that out. Get off. I'll add a little bit of brown to that in the middle of my knocker. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. So it is useful to have all your different sizes paintbrushes when you're working. I've still not unpacked my Christmas box that I put all my rubbish in off the table for clearing my table on Christmas Eve. So a lot of my nice brushes are still in there. That's this week's job. I've said that 1,000 times, but it definitely will be. I'm just going to put a little bit of gold on these little features here. There we go. It's just a little hint of the brasserie that's going on the door there. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of red, just to add a few little berries around that door. Yeah, so this is a Christmas red, nice and bright. What is that? Just sorting my light out. Sorry for that. That's a bit better. Sorry for the flashing lights. It's one of these daylight bulb things. It's like disco lights then, wasn't it? So just a little dibby dab of red, just with a fine paintbrush, just around there to give you that illusion of a little bit of berries going on. Any colour would do, but I always think a red with that green is nice and popping. It's popping. I might even put a little bit of white on there as well. Vicky Morley. Hello, lovely lady. How are you doing, stranger? How's it all going? Vicky Morley's in the building, everybody. Hello, Vicky. So just adding that bit of white and then picking up some of the red, it creates a bit of a pink as well. So I don't want to overdo it. So I'm quite happy with my door now. So my door can go to one side. I'm pretty much liking that door. I think I quite like it a lot. I think what I might just do, because I can't stop messing, is just go in with a little bit of that darker brown. Let me just put a little bit of black gesso on it as well. That's it. Just to go underneath these little slats. Just under there. And again, just right in that corner, just to create more shadow going on. That's better. That's better. I did a bit more black. Oh well, we don't like work, do we, Vicky? We don't like it. I hope you're all okay though. I hope you've not got any colds or anything at the moment. There we go. So I've just added a little bit of shadow underneath those panels as well, just to accentuate it. That's a lovely word, isn't it? Accentuate. Okay, so that's my door done. It's only taken 5 hours to do my door. You alright, Pancake? Steve? Steve, sorry, can you put Pancake out the door, please? I think he does need to go somewhere. Oh, well, I'm glad about that. Can you just sort the Pancake wheeler out, please? He's being a little bit mithery. So again, I'll just put that to one side. And then let's just get working on our little a little bunny and the rest of the little mushrooms and creatures, so I'll be quicker with these, but I did want my door to be nice. Okay, so with this little rabbit, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the grey first, and this is the little lady rabbit. I think it's the mother rabbit, or the little girl rabbit. I think it's the little girl rabbit. She's a lady. So a little bit of grey. Again, just a little bit of dry brushing first, just to cover. I'm not bothered about covering all of the black. Just going to cover most of her features, her little arms, and then I'll do with a little dress later. And she's got little shoes on as well. Just remember to do the sides around there, and at the same time I'll just layer a little bit of colour on this bird. So again, I'm going in with the grey first, and then with my little snail, well, I should have gessoed him first, but do you know what, I'm not, because I've got grey on my brush. I'm going to give him a little grey undercoat. Oh, well, that'd be nice, Glynis, because I'm doing the colour theory one, so I'm going to mix it. Sunday mornings are that's Vicky Morley, and more going to be around books and more structured makes, maybe some mixed media canvases or frames, things like that, and obviously book binding and stuff. And then I think my Tuesday evenings are going to be more of a techniques thing. So I'm going to start with a mixed media one, which is going to be sort of colour theory 101 type thing. And we look at making your own colour wheel and stuff. So I did have a mixed media 3-week course a couple of years ago now. So it's going to be like a separated version of that, because that was a 3-week course worth of lots of different videos that made up the 3 weeks of course, with a workshop at the end. So these little mini workshops are sort of based on that full course, so they're like little snapshots of techniques and stuff that you can build up over time. But like I say, they're going to be in a private workshop group, so you've got access to them all the time. So I thought that would be quite a nice idea. Okay, so with some of the mushrooms, I'm just going to come in straight in with the red. Yeah, these are those new bunnies from Prima. They are beautiful. So these, let's have a look. We've got there's dad, mum, little girl. There's a couple of sunflower heads, a couple of Easter eggs as well. But bunnies are for life, not just for Easter, aren't they? I do think. But I've also got that one as well, which was the little baker mouse, which I'm going to use soon as well on some cookbooks, recipe albums, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to come in with some of these red first. And I just think having like that black or a brown background really makes it look more vintage when you're making these flowers and stuff. Oh, on Sunday, thank you, Sarah John. I really enjoyed it, considering it started at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I don't think I didn't get up till about 9:30. I think it was lovely. It was a really nice little workshop. So if anybody is interested, it is still available, but it'll be on a rewind, rather than it being the live video. And then this one, what colour shall I do that, Steve? Steve, what colour shall I do that mushroom? What colour shall I do that mushroom? Browns? Oh, you're hopeless. Plummy leg. No, the others are red and white. Honestly, ask a fella. I thought I'd give you the opportunity to be involved, But unfortunately I've just disturbed his little self. Right, so this apricot is making a lot of appearances this evening. Just take a little bit off there. Mix it with a little bit of that brown. Oh, Waffle's on the move now. Why did they do it when I'm doing a live? Get down, get down, get down. This paint, get down. Good job it's not wet paint, isn't it? Flipping heck. And then let's come down here. With a little bit of that underneath. There we go. So that's one little toadstool completed. Got these little beauties under here. So again, just that little bit of dry brushing. Oh, Shelley, it's not funny. I'm not even going to tell you where he is now. Oh my God. Anyway, I've had to buy another Oodie today because whenever I wear the other one that I got, Waffle was just yarring at me all the time because I was in like on his bed, wearing his bed. So I went to Dunelm today and they've got them on offer. Oh gosh, that cat. So a nice little bit of dry brushing underneath. I do love a mushroom. There's going to be more mushroom songs, no doubt, when I post this as a reel later on, in maybe tonight when I've finished it. I've got to make the book though yet, haven't I suppose. It shouldn't take long. Shouldn't take long. That's my little mushroom there. I'm just going to go with a little bit of red over there. Let's get my brown back out for that little snail. So my snail, I think I'm going to do his shell green because we do sometimes have little green snails in our garden. So, what, Steve? Yeah, the little curly shells. I've said hello to many a green snail in my garden. So a nice bit of dry brushing. Again with that little, he's got a little hairy chin. It's probably cat hair that. Oodies, oh, they're just like those big chunky jumpers that are like big oversized sweatshirt things that are fluffy, like you're wearing a teddy bear, and they've got hoods on them so that you don't have to get dressed on a Sunday like I didn't do yesterday. But the one that I first got, Waffle sort of commandeered it. Pancakes in the pod, but Waffles on my Oodie. So I was in Dunelm today and I did see them on offer. So I just thought, I'm going to purchase one. And I did. Oh, and Ugliness. I try and find the best songs. I am an edible mushroom. That's one of my favourites now already. And I keep singing it. When I do my market stall, I'm forever sort of talking to myself or singing or humming. So everybody who's next to me, the stall holders who are next to me, they always go home with earworms off me. There we go. So I've got a little bit of green there because we do have in our garden some nice little green snails. So I thought he would look quite sweet. There we go. Okay, so I'm just building up the colours on these with a little bit of dry brushing all the time. So I'm going to come in with my smaller brush now to do a little bit more detail. And then when we've finished them, we can then put our little book cover together. Let me just bring it down a little bit so you can see them a little bit better. Who was my monitor for telling me not to put things too high? Vicky Morley, don't you dare, you cheeky madam. I was a very good neighbour to you. We fed you crisps, you cheeky monkey. Vicky and I used to be stall holders together, didn't we? A very, very long million years ago at Botany Bay in Preston. That's where we first met, wasn't it? I've still got that cupboard unit, you know, that you made. You know, that drawer unit. It's still on my windowsill in my lounge. I'm trying to get rid of it for years. But I don't want to part with it. There we go. And a little bit more across that one. That's it, that's it. Okay. Right, so I want a little bit of colour. Get down, get down, get down. Oh, yeah, red paint on his paw. You little swine. Yeah, you might well, yeah. Okay, so I just want a little bit of colour now for my little bunny. So let's get a nice, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Waff. That's it. Is he going in the pod? No. Oh, okay. He might just want a bit of food. He can have a bit of dry food. He's got dry food, has he? Okay. Okay. Right, so I'm going to come in with this. Oh, Shelley, don't laugh. It's not funny. Fulwood at St Mary's. Was that where? I'm sure it was Brocco's first, and then we did. Or was it St Mary's first? Maybe. I can't remember now. It was far too long ago. So she's got a little bit of a blue dress going on in the back, and then she's going to have a little bit of white over the top because she's in a Sunday best. So let's get the white and not contaminate it. Oh, it's not even funny, is it? Honestly, I've never known a cat as clumsy. I have never known a cat as clumsy as Waffle. I mean, it doesn't help. It's like an oozle trying to get past all my stuff on the table. But that's not the point. He is very clumsy. So just mixed a bit of the white with that blue. Just to brighten that up a little bit. But the detail on these moulds are it's just lovely. There we go. That's a bit better, a bit of a better colour going on there. You can't really see that light blue. There was a fella from Blackpool. Oh, he did candles, didn't he, that guy from Blackpool? I think I vaguely remember him. I vaguely remember him with the candles. Oh yeah, Waffle's one of those that when he's trying to jump up to the surface for his food, he's one of those that goes, don't quite make it. Don't quite make it. A little bit of pink for inside of her ears. And then let's get a little bit more. So she's got a little bit of a grey background, but then what I'm going to do now is with the white is just lightly go over the top of her head with a little bit of white just to get a little bit of detail out from her. So again, I've wiped off my brush. I'm going to take off the excess paint so there's not too much on there. A thinner brush. Oh, here's the other one now. Hello, mate. And then just lightly brush over the top with that white in one direction. So it picks up all the little hairs. So that's how detailed this mould is. That you see nice little hairs on the top of her face. Yep, so grey to start with, and then a nice dry brush of white over the top of her face and a little paws, and then she can have little white feet at the bottom. Oh, enjoy yourselves. I thought you were away this week. Whereabouts have you got to? Oh, Waffle is not torn my comments off. Get down. Oh, gosh, little swine. So can you see the detail now on that little rabbit? She's just so beautiful. Is that added at hairs? Look at it. It's not any cat hairs. It's proper hairs off the texture. I promise you there's no cat hairs on this. They're all on my dress. Oh, Budley Salterton. Budley Salterton, Steve. That was famous for what film? Budley Salterton.
No idea.
Yeah, you do. With Margaret Rutherford. The Seance.
Oh, well, Blythe Spirit.
Blythe Spirit. They were near Budley Salterton, weren't they? I'm sure that was featured on Blythe Spirit. Do you remember that? Rex Harrison. Great film. Budley Salterton. Nice. It is one of my favourite films. I might have to find it on YouTube and watch it again. So these little mushrooms now, I'm just going to, well actually I'm going to use the bottom of my paintbrush because I just want to add tiny little dots. Just to add that detail. Yeah, Blythe Spirit, the original's the best. Not the, they did a new version, wasn't very good.
Which is the remake?
I can't remember who was in the remake, it was absolutely garbage. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with it. Can't beat the original. Margaret Rutherford was bonkers. Hello, Jason. I've got to say, hello, Jason. Hello, have you packed your toothbrush yet? Have you got your stuff ready for the retreat? Oh, blooming heck. Oh, that's okay. I've just dropped it upside down. I'm actually going to do some white dots on this one as well. I know they're not there, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we're just bringing everything together now. We're nearly done. We're nearly ready for putting our book cover together. I think that's very nice. Let's just do a little bit more detail on the snail. Little snail of delight. My table is filthy. Filthy dirty. Right, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of black gesso just in the little crevices of this little snail. So let's just drag a little bit of that black off the lid. Again, I don't want much. Being very sparing with my paint. Just again, just a little bit of dry brushing over the top. There's a little bit of grey on this brush as well, so it just adds a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit more detail just underneath the swirly bits. Tiny, tiny little bits of paint underneath there. So I've only got a very thin brush there just to go around his little swirls there. Don't know if you can see that. Little bit of swirl action going on. Little bit of shadow underneath his shell. And then a bit more dry brushing with that black over the top of that brown. There we go. Come on. I bet we want to do the projects, you know, Helen. And anyone, we have still got a place available now, one's come up. So if anyone fancies a retreat in Thornton Cleveland, it's the 14th to the 16th of March with myself and Jill Humphreys, running Friday evening through till Sunday afternoon you are more than welcome to get in touch about it. It will be lovely. There, okay, so I want a little bit of black. Now for her eyes, rather than using paint, I'm actually going to use some of my acrylic marker. It's a permanent marker, but it's just easier just to paint in those little black eyes. And it makes it a little bit shinier as well. And I just need to paint her little bow tie that she's got. And I'm going to do that in a little white bow tie, and I'm going to go over the frills of a dress in a little bit of the white. And then I think we're done then, and we're going to put everything together. Can't stay in my hands. Might mean I have to have another shower, and I've already had one this week. Right, let's get that white going in the lid. There's a little bow tie there. Little bow tie in white. And then I'm just going to come back over with some of this white over some of the details of a little frock. There we go, and some of these little frills. And because I've still got that blue in the background, it just all brightens everything up with that little bit of white going over the top of it. That's really pretty, I like that. So that's my little bunny done. That's my little snail. I've got my little bird. He just needs a little bit of, let's put a little bit of white on his wings. He just needs a little bit of black on his eye, and then I'm going to put everything together. Oh dear, you need food. All right, thanks Angela. I'm nearly done, lovely, but I'm a little bit. What time are we on? Oh, it's only 20 past 8. We're all right. We're okay. Not too bad for time. And I've got a live tomorrow in That's Crafty Creatives as well, so I'll have to think about what I'm doing for that yet. So there's this little, just put a little bit of acrylic marker. So these are really useful to have, the black and the white acrylic markers. I've got a drawer full of them now because I just find them really useful. Yeah, I think we're done. I'm just going to come over a little bit of this with a little bit of the white as well, just so it distinguishes the two areas, because at the minute they're just looking a little bit too blended together. But I think dry brushing is so underused as a technique for painting, and I can't tell you how much lifelikeness it gives to characters and to projects that you're doing. All right, Marjorie. Okay, lovely. Oh no, I'd have to ban you. I remember. Do you remember doing when I did that 24-hour charity blooming live event? And I had some of my friends were coming in from being out the night before and that, so I did have some comedy comments in the middle of the night, like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. There we go. So that again, just that little bit of white brings that really back to life. The workshops, Deirdre, if you click on, and I think they might still be able to be purchased from the event itself, but I can send you the details. But I'll put an event on for the workshops, and there's a button to click just to pay for them, either PayPal or card or whatever. There we go. Just that bit of white brings it to life, it really does. But as I say, if you've missed them, they're there to watch again if you need to. And yeah, and it's not a Zoom one, it's just a Facebook Live like this, so you don't have to be seen on camera or anything. I don't have to be seen on camera. I didn't get dressed yesterday, so I actually taught the workshop in my pyjamas. And nobody knew any different. Okay, right, let's get these out of the way and let's get our book cover put together. It says it's ended, Deirdre. I'll try and sort it out so that it can still be purchased. I'll sort that out if people still want to do it. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do is heat this up because it's got that curve to it, and then I'm going to use some heavy body gel to attach it to my wall piece. So I've got, where's my everybody gel? La 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 la. Ooh, the gel. Where's my gel? Oh, it's behind my phone. It's what's propping my phone up, you clown. Okay, yeah, so I'll sort out that, Deirdre, just so that people can still access it. So I'm using some heavy body gel. It's glossy. It doesn't matter if it's matte or glossy. I just need something very strong to hold all these onto the surface of my board. But I just want to heat this up first while I'm sticking it down. So let's get my gel on. So I can't recommend you using a heavy body gel enough, really, because it does what it says. It's a nice thick gloopy gel, and I always give it a little bit of a push up and down to make it a little bit textured, a bit like when you're putting clay together, two pieces of clay, you know, when you do your little crisscross, so that they adhere together a lot easier when you're pushing those two surfaces together. I just like it like that. Yeah, exactly, there to watch at your own speed. And I have put now a video of one that I've completed with different extra pockets and stuff in it to give people a little bit of inspiration. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down, and as that's stuck down, I'm just going to start heating it at the top. That's the bit that's curved. Really carefully, I'm just going to push that down because it's very hot. There we go. So once you start to heat it, it will soften it enough for you to then manipulate it back into shape if you need to. Won't the paint and the gesso bubble as I'm heating it? No. Now, if I put it on too much, it could possibly bubble, but I'm not really doing it for long enough. It's quite sturdy, this paint. If it's something like embossing powder, something like that, it might well do. But that texture paste now on there, it's like concrete once it dries. It's really solid inside. And because I've only used a very light coat of paint, Sharon, just with that dry brushing, there isn't an awful lot of paint on there, and it's the liquid content that will make it bubble. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got just a heavy jar. I'm just going to sit that just on the top a little bit. That's it, just to press it down. And then what I'll do, once everything's on, what I tend to do is turn it upside down once it's dry and flatten it again. So I'll put it underneath. I usually tend to put it underneath my craft mat just to keep everything nice and flat. So that's flattened, more or less flattened that piece. And because this grey board is sort of fairly flexible, that'll mould itself to it. So the only bit of moisture now coming through Glynis is that heavy body gel, because of the moisture in it, and I've heated it as well. So that's the only bit of moisture, but that will dry out. So I'm going to leave it till tomorrow to actually finish the book, make the book itself, and put this on the top of my book, because I want to make sure that the back is completely dry. And what I might well do is paint a layer of gesso over that before I stick it to the front cover, so I know that none of that extra moisture will get through. Okay, so that's my little door. I've got my little rabbit who's going to be stood in front of the door like so. And what I need to do, because she's sort of half and half, I want to put something underneath here to lift her off the surface so that she doesn't sort of collapse onto the door. I want to keep her above the door on top. So I'm going to get a little bit of spare grey board just to build it a little bit underneath here. But doesn't she look lovely? She looks fab, doesn't she? So let's get a little bit of spare grey board. And let's just cut a couple of little squares up that'll just fit underneath. And I'll do this for some of the other little features, because some of them are going to be layered on top of each other as well. So let's just cut some of these up. And of course little bits of spare MDF can be used as well. I have got a little bag of MDF somewhere in me somewhere of somewheres. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do is just layer that up just so that it's the same height as these little flowers here, and it hides just underneath the dress. So when she's stuck down now, it's solid, she's not going to fall backwards. So again, let's get some gel on these little grey board pieces. And then she can just be gelled up. But I do need to top up my heavy body gel as well at some point. So mainly that ear. The other ear I'm not bothered about. That can float in space. It was a body more that I didn't want to be floating in space. There we go. A little bit of gel on there to make sure I've got her stuck there. And then she's just oozed there. That's it. So she's on the doorstep. Let me just get my little paintbrush and just take out the excess gel. Let's just wipe that. If anything doesn't dry clear, I will go back over with my paint. It's fine. So she's sort of stood on a doorstep. I want my little snail just sort of moving away from her a little bit. Now he's okay where he is. I might just put a little piece under him, but he's quite solid where he is because there's a little bit there and a little bit here, so I don't think he's moving very far where he is. So I need a bit on his body and a bit down the bottom. Oh, Sharon, we did a gatefold album, so I've put a reel on here on Crafting Together with All Brands, and because it's online, and I don't send out kits now for these workshops that I'm doing. It just means you can use your own papers, and particularly for this one as well. I've said we used my Journal It templates, but if you haven't got them, I've also given dimensions of the paper and card that we used and the grey board. So it just means that, you know, if you haven't got the equipment, you can still make it. There we go. Because I know, you know, a lot of people are from different parts of the world, aren't they? I might have to do a little bit of a different colour on top of that snail. Just slightly. I might add a little bit of yellow on him while he's there. Let me just do a bit of dry brushing yellow. But I am going to just have a quick look because because it's got an end date on that workshop. I don't know if they can still get tickets for it, so I'll have to just have a quick look about changing the way it's set up so that people can still access it. Well, they can still access it once they're in it, but I mean for new people to access it, that's what I mean. There we go. That's a bit better because it just differentiates him from the flowers and foliage around him. Okay, so Bunny's there. I don't think she's floating. I'll just perhaps move her down slightly so it doesn't look like she's levitating off the door. Little snails in place. Right, so we've got these big beauties now, and I'm okay with them being overlapping because that's going to be the edge of my book, so that's okay. And that's just going to be, well, I'll see. I don't even know whether I'm going to use that one. Let me just see what I think, because I've got those little ones there. I don't know. Tell me what you think, because I can layer them on top. So I've got that big one there, and I can layer these around it. Or do you think that big one is just a bit daft where it is? Oh yeah, so the rabbit is the new Prima redesign, but we will bring lots of different moulds actually to the retreat, just so people can have a little play. So what do you reckon? The trio of mushrooms, and then I've got my little bird that's going to sit on top, so he just needs a little bit more colour, I think. Just go with the little ones, not the big one. Right, okay, I'm just going to do that. So I just need to add a little bit more colour now to my bird. So now he's dry. Let me just put these little mushrooms on. So these can just go straight on with the heavy body gel. Yeah, all right. I'm just doing it. All right. All right. So I've got that one there. That heavy body gel will cling to all sorts of stuff. It's just my go-to, the Pentart heavy body gel for sticking to this sort of surface. Again, just tippy-tappy so it's got a bit of texture to it. And then just let it settle itself. You don't have to squish it down. Just let it settle on the surface and it will adhere. So the bird's going to go on, and then I'm going to put a little bit of colour on the bird. So what colour do you reckon for our little bird? I'll let you decide. The most popular colour will win. And I will sort him out. There we go. So he can sit just on the top of there. There we go. Put the bird on the mushroom. No, I've put him on the top of my door now. I want something a little bit further up the top. I didn't want anything, I didn't want it all down at the bottom. So the whole, oh yeah, I wanted him on my door, the top of my door. Yeah, I'm not listening to Helen anyway, she'd make the wrong decision. Yellow, orange, yellow, okay. I don't think blue because a lot of this is blue and green, so I think orangey yellow is a good shout. So there's my yellow, there's my orange. Oh, that's sorted. Right, a bit of that. Look at the state of that yellow pot. I'm not doing it blue, Glynis. You can't make me. Look at that. It's disgusting, isn't it? I'm so dirty. Don't contaminate your pots. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Just don't do it. Oh, I don't know. Birds are whatever colour they are. I don't know what style of bird they are. What type of bird? A bullfinch. There we go. Right, bit of yellow. Let's see what. Let's have a look at that yellow. Let's see what you look like. It might well get a bit of a yellow breast yet, Jill. That's it. I've got little blooming flakes now of that yellow. Get off. Oh, it's a yellow hammer. Not that you're hammered, Helen. It's a Helen hammered. Helen hammered. Right. What does that look like with that? With that orange. Well, it doesn't have to be a real bird, does it? It can be a fantasy bird. Because obviously it's a bit of a fantasy thing there. Because obviously she wouldn't be letting a snail coming out of her door, would she? Mrs. Rabbit. Oh, Glynis, that's just an excuse, lady. So that looks okay, doesn't it, with that yellow? I think that's quite sweet. So, I think I'm done. I don't think I need any wording on this. Sometimes I might do like journal or something across the top, but I think I can just leave it as it is, can't I? What do you reckon? What do you reckon, gang? And just leave it, can't I? Let's just bring it down a little bit. Let's put it on a nice background that's not dirty. Let's put it on that. There we go. Lovely. There we go. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed that. So I'll sort out details. I'll let you know about the workshop. You can always find details on my page. The next one I'm going to do is a mixed media one next week. Thanks, Dina. Thanks, Jan. Thanks, everybody. But there we are. I'll lift it up a little bit. Parakeets, yeah. I might do a bit of green on it. I'll lift it up a bit. But once I've taken a few more photographs in a proper light, you can really see the texture of that wall going on. Thank you very much. I really like that. So thank you so much for sticking with me. We'll see you next Monday. What it will be, I have no idea. And then other than that, I can see people tomorrow morning. That's Crafty Creatives at 11. And then probably Journal It Template Club on Friday about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Helen, I'll message you. I can't remember at the minute. I'll message you. All right, lovely. Have a lovely evening, the rest of you. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.